Hi everyone. It's been a while, but I thought it would be a perfect time to do a little garden tour and show you everything that's going on in the garden right now. I just put some mulch down last night and oh my goodness, what a difference a little bit of mulch does. And all of the perennials that I planted last year around this time are all looking absolutely beautiful. We've got a butterfly bush here in the front. That's a dwarf butterfly. And the front path, it's just, oh, such a difference since I planted those boxwoods 3 years ago almost, and then all these perennials last year. I particularly love this Carex grass in the front. It just glows and looks so beautiful. And this is a pink mink clematis, but everything is just looking so pretty. I've got my cone flowers, Shasta daisies. I did just trim back. This is whirling butterfly Gara. Look, I still have mulch marks on my hands. And then this is some Veronica, the pink, and some more Shasta daisies and echinacea. And the temperature just could not be better. It is just a gorgeous day. We're expected to get some showers soon, so I'm out here right now at the perfect time just to share a little bit of the garden with you guys. I am so excited to show you everything that's blooming right now on this beautiful, peaceful, breezy day. It's just perfect weather. Can't wait to show you everything that's blooming and everything that I've changed so far this year. I think I've gotten a lot done in just a short amount of time. But before I take you back here, I do want to give a huge shout out and thanks to Brex for sponsoring this video. Brex saw all the construction that was going on with the greenhouse last year and how I had that whole side garden dug up, and they offered to send me some plants to build up the garden, which I am so thankful for, and I really appreciate it because it really does help. So first, you guys know that I just planted these boxwoods here last year, 1 year ago, and they were quart size, itty bitty little tiny shrubs, and now look, they are almost touching like a full hedge. When I planted those, I have to say, I was like, wow, it's gonna take forever for these to get filled in. And no, I mean, I've already trimmed these once so far to kind of start to shape them because they were looking a little wonky. So I went along and I just gave them a really light trim about a month ago, and all that fresh green growth is now filling in on top. These are going to be touching in no time. I think by next year I'm going to have a nice straight hedge. So that is really exciting. And then I do need to add more color to this bed. So I did plant some bare roots from Brex. I have some echinacea in here. I'll put up some pictures of what I planted. White swan. And then I also planted some in-orbit alliums in here. Now they're bare root, so it's going to take a little bit for them to get established. But what's great about bare root plants is they come to you from Brex in a pack of usually 3, depending on the plant. So you're getting 3 plants for what you would usually pay for just 1 plant start in your nursery or big box store. So, you know, the plants, they grow. They're going to grow, and before you know it, they're big. So I love the fact that you can get more plants when you have a lot of area to cover and a lot of space to fill in. It really does help to buy the bare roots and plant the bare roots, and I've always had good luck with it. The whole back row is just going to be one big, beautiful row of cafe au lait dahlias. And you guys know I love the cafe au lait dahlias. I really wanted to kind of make a statement when you walked in the back gate and have just a beautiful wall along the fence here. We have the tension wire for the espalier apple, so you know, we'll be able to use that to support the plants, and I can just stake them up against that, and I can just picture in a few weeks it's going to look really, really wonderful. And then these are Bobo Hydrangeas that I planted for the first time this season. I've never had Bobo Hydrangeas before, and I'm really looking forward to those. You can see there's buds all over, so this is a totally new venture for me. I'm starting to let things kind of self-sow These are some foxgloves I planted from last year. And then I did plant a really pretty milkweed plant here because I really want to get those pollinators. Mama Robin has returned. Her first babies flew away and now she's back again. A friend told me, don't touch the nest, leave it there and see if she comes back, and she did. So I'm really happy she's back. I have the urn here planted up this year with lots of pinks. I've got some Dichondra Silver Falls in here, some Dusty Miller, the geraniums, and then those are the Super Cal petunias, and did I say Dichondra Silver Falls? I think I did. And oh, I'm sorry, and then some white Angelonia. So I'm really just trying to do a lot of color blocking. You can see I match here with the window box. This one side is looking tremendous. This side is starting to fill in more like that one. But my goodness, I am loving the window box this year. But this hydrangea, this Invincible Limetta, you guys, I have a hard time saying, you know, that's my favorite shrub. But I think this Limetta might be my favorite shrub. It's so pretty. I really, really love it. Oh, that breeze. I wish you guys were here with me and could feel the breeze. I did just pull, so this is looking really sparse right now. I just pulled some massive cabbages that I had out of here because they were really done and they were starting to get really infested with cabbage worms and holes all over them, and they just were not very pretty looking anymore. So I pulled them out. I'll put something else in. I've got my sweet peas growing on the little trellis here. And then I did move, this is the bench that I moved back into the boys' garden. Guess what? They never sat on it. I didn't think they would, and it just seems so wasted, and just such a shame to put a pretty bench like that back there. So I put a couple little chairs back there for them, and they sit there. They don't even sit, they stand the whole time. So the bench is much better suited here, and now I can sit down and enjoy, you know, the vegetable garden a little bit better. I've got the Limetta here. Love this shrub, you guys. I love this shrub. There's two of them in there. And I think I'd love to have one maybe on this side next year because it really is pretty. I've got all kinds of herbs. And oh, my raspberry bush. I have a dwarf raspberry bush that I'm really excited about. I've been picking raspberries off of here every day with the boys. Look at that. That is exciting to me. I've never grown raspberries before. So that really, really, it's a thrill. It is a thrill to come out here. And I know you guys probably think I'm so silly, but it's just so exciting to me. I come out every day and there's something new to enjoy, and it just makes me so excited. It really does. Another huge change, big change. You guys haven't seen this yet. So I had talked about, I don't think, if you're not on Instagram, then you didn't hear this whole dilemma. I was considering putting the fence back and not putting the fence back. And then we found a fabulous deal on winter Gem Boxwoods that were like large size. So we grabbed them up because they were an excellent price, and I planted them here. I'll shape them into a nice straight hedge. They're kind of, you know, wonky right now because we just planted them and it's hot, and I want to give them a chance to, you know, get their roots going, get a little bit established. But my idea is I will have them kind of as tall as the fence post here, as railing rather. So as tall as this rail here, and just a nice straight hedge. And then it will separate the space like a room, like my old, you know, my previous picket fence did, but it's a living and green wall. Isn't that so much better? For me, I feel like it is, because with my garden as being so small, I'm really trying to have as much garden, as much plants as possible, and not inundated with structure. I don't want, you know, structures that don't have purpose. And the fence was great, but I feel like the boxwood's better. Of course, it's all personal preference, but I love the boxwood, and I think it's going to look terrific. I think it looks terrific now. I've got some zinnias in here I started from seed, and some snapdragons that I did not start from seed. I picked those up at a local nursery recently. And then I have some dahlia tubers I planted in here. This is some zinnias that I direct sowed. I feel like I haven't shown you guys the garden in so long, and look how much has grown since the last time we got together. Black Creme tomatoes. The leaves are a little curled up there, so I'm making sure that I'm deeply watering this plant so I'm not stressing it, because I know that, you know, when the leaves start to curl, it can be an indication of pests, which is not, because I'm inspecting the plant, but it can also be a sign of stress from too much or too little water. So I'm trying to be really consistent with that. And then I've got a berry pot up here, and I know it looks like I'm trying to be cute or something to have it up here on the stool, and it does look cute, I have to say, but this was initially done because I had some little chipmunks. I had Chip and Dale running around in here trying to steal my berries, so I put it up here just to make it a little bit more difficult. Of course I could cover it with a cloche if I really wanted to, but I thought, oh, you know what, that's a really pretty moment right there. And that's what we want, the pretty moments. And then these are Cut Plum Sunflowers, which are my absolute favorite. Now, here's what's weird. Cut Plum is a single stem sunflower. These are not. These are branched. They look like Cut Plum. I've planted that variety before, but these are branching. So I don't know if it's just some strange anomaly or what it is, but I'm here for it. And thank you, sunflowers, for doing strange things that make you look even prettier than I thought. So just a weird thing. And then nasturtiums. The nasturtiums are looking great this year. I will cut these back once they start to look kind of tattered and sun worn. You can give these a good trim back, and they'll flush back again. So, you know, when they get tired towards the end of the season, grab a hunk of them, chop it back, and then in fall time you can have, you know, a new fresh regrowth there in time for fall. That's what I do every year. And these strawberries are looking terrific as well. I've been picking on those every day. My potatoes are almost ready to harvest, and you can see that the potatoes ate the nasturtium that was over here. Harvesting those very soon. This is nothing. I need to plant this bed up. I just put a little thing of water in there for the pollinators, for the birds, because it was scorching the other day. But I have a couple things I'm potting up, and not a lot going on here, so I need to make better use of that bed there. But, oh, is this pretty? It looks like lace. It's so gorgeous. And then we come in. I am getting some black spot on my roses because it is New Jersey, and it's humid and it's hot, and we get black spot. So I do my best. I pull off the funky leaves and dispose of them, and I will spray with a copper fungicide, but there really is only so much we can do, and it is what it is. So sun patient window boxes are looking so full and beautiful, and it just goes to show the impact that just really one plant can have, one flowering plant can have in a window box. If you plant it in the right location, these are perfect here, and I couldn't ask for anything more. And the best thing for me with window boxes in general is that view, not just outside, but inside. We sit in there and we eat, and it's just so pretty, and it's just so cheerful to look out the window and see these happy little plants, you know, peeking up above the windowsill. What else do we have over here? Well, my hellebores are obviously done for the season, and I do have some hosses interplanted in here as well. But this is what the hellebores look like when they're not in bloom. You know, they stay pretty evergreen and don't get very tattered looking here. And then this is Canterbury Bells that I planted from seed last year, you guys. Do you believe this plant? I think I showed this in my last video, and I still can't get over it. So this is the second flush of blooms. I deadheaded this. I'll see if I can find one to show you. Well, I don't see any spent blooms right now because I'm constantly out here picking on it. But all of these buds, these are all this. Excuse my hands from the mulch. These are all the second flush of blooms, and I'm just overwhelmed with how beautifully this is doing from just one seed. It's amazing. And then over here, I've just, you know, the fresh mulch does make everything wonderful. So I do share some tips on Instagram that are just like little quick tips. And one of the things that I mentioned, now this lavender I've had for, I'm going to say this is going on its maybe 5th year. Look, the bees just love it. Lavender can be tricky here. What you want to do is kind of forget about it. They don't like fertilizer, really. And if you plant it in a dry and well-draining situation in full sun and you don't give it too much love, these are gonna really thank you for it. When I mulched, I was careful to push the mulch away from the base of the lavender. You know, you don't want to bunch it all up around the crown of the plant, because then it's, you know, mulch retains moisture. So when you're pushing that mulch up around your lavender, you're just giving it too much moisture, too much water retention, and then it's going to suffer. It's going to suffer as a result. I've lost plenty of lavender plants that way, but I now feel a little bit more confident in my lavender plant skills. And I'm trying to make like a little mini hedge here. Oh my gosh, isn't it so pretty? It's so pretty, you guys. I am loving this year, like beyond. Oh, we are still working on the garage door. We had an unfortunate series of events where all of us were sick. And then Luke, my youngest, broke his arm at recess at school. So that just threw everything out of whack. We were just, he broke 2 bones, and it was just a whole thing. It was very difficult because he wasn't able to participate in any like really activities that we were doing as a family, and it kind of was a bummer. So just got the cast off last week, and he's a happy camper now. And I'm a happy camper because now we can live life normal again. So thank you for bearing with me as we had family things going on, as things happen sometimes, So this is Rockin' Playin' the Blue Salvia. It is one of my absolute favorites. It's a perennial here, and it's a good salvia. It gets really thick and full, and I planted a couple of those here with some little echinaceas. These are also from Brack's, more of the Cafe au Lait dahlias. I went to plant them in a bunch of different areas to see how they did in different spots. I always planted them here, but I never really planted them along that fence. And I just wanted to see how they would do, in different sun situations. So they are looking really terrific. And I got my stakes in, so I can just use my little Velcro and tether them up as they grow. And they're all down the line here, so I can imagine it's gonna look really beautiful. And then one day, when this hedge is tall and a thick row, from the vegetable garden side, you'll see these happy dahlia heads just kind of floating along. Oh, I really like the bench there. You ever step back and we just put it there just, a bit ago, and I'm looking at it now and I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? That works, that fits, that belongs there. And guess what? That's where I had it before, pretty much. So sometimes just trust your first instinct. I think one of the big mistakes that I make as a gardener is I second guess myself a lot, and then I find myself in these situations where I'm incapable of making final decisions because I don't trust myself. So trust yourself. And if something doesn't work out, you can fix it later. But as my mom says, and I've quoted this before, the worst decision is no decision. Which leads me to this area. So I made some decisions here. Does this look different, you guys? Big time, right? I had these diamond trellis for maybe 2-3 years, just sitting on the side of the house. I knew I liked them. I knew I wanted them somewhere. I didn't know where. So I finally kind of made a decision and said, you know what? Let's put them on the fence and see about maybe planting some vines or something up them. So all along the diamond trellis here, I've got jasmine plants, which are supposed to be kind of semi-evergreen here. I've never grown jasmine, so if you've grown jasmine, tell me about it. This is actually star jasmine, and it has a wonderful scent and the white little blooms that kind of open closer to the evening. So I'll be training that, along this diamond trellis, and I think it's just gonna look so wonderful to have something, again, living in green, instead of, your focus being the structure, and instead of your focus being the fence, I want the focus to be, the garden, the plants, the green. And I came in and I planted, as you can see, a bunch of hydrangeas, a bunch of perennials. I planted a bunch of the perennials from Braxton here. Like I said, they're bare roots. So this is where I planted the geranium roseanne. I love geranium roseanne. It is the most beautiful ground cover. I just love it. I love it. I had it here at the shed, and when we took the shed down, it amongst, you know, a bunch of other plants got kind of destroyed because we're digging, you know, we're digging and trenching and things just get totally buried. We've had, you know, we had tarps and just debris and things all over. So fresh start with some new geraniums. One thing I love to do with my bare root, take a little bamboo stake and pop it in the ground where you planted your plant. That way, when it does start to grow, you don't mistake it for a weed. Here's a little piece of it right now. You don't mistake it for a weed. And then you know when you're planting your other plants what you have there. You could even go as far as putting, you know, a label. You could label it if you don't, you know, want to forget what you planted, which I might. But that geranium roseanne will just fill in all right here. I'll let it go all, you know, all along this area and just really spread and sprawl. So I did plant, you can see I have some clumps of allium and some of the echinacea, but I planted a bunch of those bare roots. The 3-pack for, I think it was 15 was exactly right. Oh my gosh. There's a hummingbird. I can't believe it. I really can't believe it. I hope it comes back. I'm gonna sit here and stalk it quietly and see if it comes back. Oh my gosh. Like, cut, stop the video. I'm just gonna pull up a chair and look at this hummingbird feeder for the rest of the day now. Been nice talking to you guys. Bye. Look how good, you guys. I just trimmed back my rose. My rose is nice and trimmed back and ready to put out some more blooms, hopefully. I do need to trim my arborvitae. They were getting eaten by the rose, so I kind of just let them go. And now that everything is trimmed back and I have a clearer sight line, I will go ahead and shape those up a little bit. I apologize for the noise. Something's going on out there. Now I've got Colette climbing rose on here. Look how pretty, you guys. Oh, that is so pretty. With the Nigella, Love in a Mist Nigella that has self-seeded. These are the really fun and funky looking seed pods. And I just leave those and let it self-seed there. And then this is the Queen Anne's lace. Oh, when these open, they're just gorgeous. And I feel like, you know, I want this to be the self-seeded area of the Queen Anne's lace and the Nigella, and it can just all get so thick around here with the roses. I did plant a Sweet Summer Love. Is that it? I'm not sure. It's not the white one that's really crazy. It's a purple one, a clematis. So that's going up the back there. So I figured I'd have the clematis plus the Colette climbing roses and then all these self-seeders around it. Don't they almost glow? Like, look, don't you love plants that kind of just, I don't know, they're ethereal looking. I don't know, I love it. I love it. Decided to keep my fruit trees and my olive tree here. They look good there in the baskets, but you know what? Now that I mulched, I can really see what's going on a lot better, and all the room that I actually have. Our soil here is not the best. When it doesn't have mulch or amendments to it, it's just like gray, sandy. It just does not look good. So now that I've got the fresh mulch down, I can see that I'm going to plant many more perennials in this area. I'll put, maybe I'll make another order from Brax now that I think about it and get some more bare roots to put in this area. Something else in this area is needed. And I just love how it kind of, the curves kind of gracefully take you to the bench there. I finished off this lavender hedgerow. So, because before it wasn't really technically like a row. They were kind of just interspersed randomly. So now I have more of a curved kind of hedge going on. But that's my update. And I just wanted to show you guys how beautiful everything is looking. Should be getting another flush of roses very soon. And these sunflowers are looking gorgeous. But I encourage you to try some bare roots if you haven't, or if you've, never shopped for anything like that online. It's not my first time, and I've shopped with Brex for many years, so I'm happy to endorse them and recommend them to you guys. And if you do decide to shop with them, if you use the code Laura20, you'll get free shipping on your order, which is nice. So every little bit helps. And I hope you're all having a beautiful, beautiful time in your garden. And I'm definitely going to get more frequent with my updates for you guys now that bones are unbroken and we are on the mend. So happy summer. We just celebrated the first day of summer solstice yesterday. So even more blooms to come. Thank you guys so much for joining me in my garden today, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.